Hello and welcome. This is our first section of our next unit. Unit 3 is all about inequalities. Inequalities are, sometimes when things aren't equal, there are situations that come up where we definitely want to represent being larger than something or less than something. A lot of bank accounts, for example, they have a minimum balance, say $100. And if you're required to keep $100 in your bank account, then a mathematical expression would be you need to have larger than or equal to. So greater than or equal to is one of those situations. Let's just go through a few notes really quickly. Writing and graphing inequalities is our first topic. Again, fast forward or rewind this video as needed in order to review this topic. Okay, you can see by these alligator teeth which one was bigger. Often we have people that represent this side right here is actually larger in width than the other side. And if that's the case, then we say that is bigger than, say, this one over here, right? And so this particular inequality is eating the larger one or is greater than. Okay, so with that said, if we scroll down, here are our symbols. We use these symbols. Less than is over here, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, when it makes sense to include that number, and not equal to at all is a slash through the equal sign. Okay. It also depends on what is on the left and what is on the right side. So often we write it like this. We'll write an X over here, and then we'll write a number on this side like this. And we say that X is less than 8 because 8 is larger compared using that less than sign. But it does depend on which way they're oriented. I could actually write it this way with an X over here, an 8 on this side. How would I write it so it actually means the same thing? I would have the chomper eating the larger number. So technically this particular inequality is actually meaning the same thing as this one. They mean the exact same thing. So it sort of depends on what side you are putting your variable on as well. So we always think about the chomper or the alligator mouth eating the larger number as a good way to reference which one is greater than, and it depends on which one's on the left. You can see left right here. All right, let's go ahead and scroll down just a little bit further. And here's a good summary. This is a great summary of all the things that we will cover in this section. Being able to write an inequality, use it from words, or being able to write words from an inequality, going from symbols to words and words to symbols, and then also including a graph in that particular section as well, and being able to graph it. Okay, so that's a great summary. Tomorrow we will begin solving inequalities by figuring out, undoing process and things like that. Okay, here's a good summary as well. Less than looks like this, and that's how we would graph it. We include an open circle, so you can see right here that it's graphed on top of the number line, and it has an open circle, right, like that. And it points to the left. This would be like something like X is less than, and that looks like negative 4.25 in that case right there. Okay, that's a 4. Okay, so we have greater than is this one, and it's also open circle. And right here we have less than or equal to. And if that's the case and it looks like this symbol, then we fill the dot in because it will be equal to as well. All right, you get the idea. My pen's not working the way I want it to. Okay, so greater than or equal to as well right here. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep forging ahead. And this kind of summarizes what we'll be doing in this section. Okay, there's also one more way that we can actually write using kind of sort of different notation, and this is called interval notation. Interval notation is just like this right here, and this means anytime you use a parentheses, that means that it does not include, not included. Get the idea. This means, yes, it does include that number. Okay, so that means it would be equal to in that case. We'll talk more about this notation coming up in the next section. Okay, so less than And again, it's all about what it's less than. And you go to the spot. We'll go through some examples in just a little bit. But if it's not equal to, like this one right down here, if it doesn't say equal to, then it's open circle. If it says equal to, then we say that it is going to have a filled in circle, which means that it includes that one. Here are some phrases: at most, no more than, no greater than, at least, no less than. So thinking about what does that mean exactly in terms of our symbols, and we'll talk more about that coming up in the next section. Okay, with that said, go through our examples in this section, and each example is really important. It pairs up with everything from section 1